Alrighty, okay. So, I think we are just going to try to. We're just gonna try to continue without them, for now. Hopefully, I think I have an idea. Okay, so, welcome everybody. Welcome back. It's been a second. How is everyone doing tonight? Let's see. Let me just, for some
Little criminal.
reason. uh, okay. Alright, so, with that, should be. I'm struggling real quick because I don't know if my audio settings are doing what they should be doing, which is awesome. I love when that happens. Okay. So, um, so yeah, session 12. So with that said, would anybody like to try to recollect on where we had left off last session?
Last we left off, we were having a great time in front of a council of people who did not like us.
Accurate.
And none of them were threatening in any way to anyone.
Yeah, actually, no, they were quite peaceful.
Nobody
um,
had a panic attack.
Nobody had a panic attack. No, nobody has had a panic attack yet. Actually,
Oh, that's right.
we all left off like immediately as
The panic attack was about to ensue.
yes, just literally a millisecond before we cut it. But yes, so uh, for for those who need the recap after 4 weeks of not of no sessions, we last left off as the party had made their way to the elven continent of Ampharina. Initially in an attempt to gain access to what you now realize is their prized military defense, known as the Trojan, or the Nahuatl, or as they've referred to it in Ampharina, the Asmogolems. You find that they have been able to harness the capabilities of manipulating these machines, a feat that you had been initially informed to be only possible using secret vestiges that have been spread across the world. But now you have made your way to Ampharina, where you have found that the 13 members of the Celdran court that rule over Ampharina all possess a vestige. But even with that, they are still missing three. And those three are, well, no, they are missing two. One of them is in your possession. The other is nowhere to be seen. You know who has it, but they have been lost for a week now, detached from the rest of the group. And the Seldarin court, after finally being able to seek an audience with them in the capital of Thulicone, have basically given you a proposal that they are willing to discuss. They simply ask that you find the last two Trojans, the last two vestiges, in order to command these Trojans, and they will potentially give you their vestiges and access to their military. You also had met a new player by the name of Cirilla Zenacosta, a relatively unnatural humanoid who seems to be older than recorded time itself, and also seems to be the head representative of the Asmogolems, or as it's been referred to by the court, the Horizon Initiative. And just as the meeting was concluding and you were being placed in the hands of Miss Senna Costa, one at the moment absent member of the court who had not shown to this meeting apparates into their position on the table. Mr. Erevan Ilisir, or as one of the only players that is not here at the moment, would refer to them as Dracula. But none of you have seen Dracula, so none of you know of Dracula. Therefore, the final member, Erevan Elisir, arrives in a flash of black mist. This tall and well-built Shatterkai, draped in darker clothing of black and muted reds, that stands tall with this pale gray skin, very young looking, around probably mid-20s to mid-30s, but in Elven time, who knows how old he is. As he appears just behind his chair and slowly moves it out of the way to take a seat, you hear this dull and muted voice say, "I apologize for my absence, my brothers. I was indisposed." Karelin, the head of the court, replies with a, "I'm sure that indisposal was quite more impactful than what we have discussed here. You haven't missed much, Erevan, but we would like to discuss, now that you are here, we would like to discuss the certain events that have been introduced to us, involving foreign affairs. Is there a war being waged across Cerdonia involving the factions of Ilios and Aenis?" See Erevan give a pause as he looks to Karelin taking a seat. Hasn't seemed to look at you all standing at the podium at the moment, but looks at Karelin with a look of pondering as he says, I have heard of these. I have heard of events involving Ilios and Aenis. They have so far only heard of scourges across Zov at the moment. The Gilgamesh Assembly had been initiated in Mezawai, and Apollo has ripped and teared through the Blackbloods at the moment, but nothing more so far. I'm sure this is not any of concern to the court. They do not seem to have any sort of ulterior motives other than seeking out this weapon that they claim to be in possession of all of these different factions, but so far have not seemed to have an interest in Anfarina. But it could be a possibility that they would show up. You see him cut off for a second as he finally looks away from Karelin at the group. But it's only for a second. Just a momentary pause. And he doesn't seem to be looking precisely at any of you. He just seems to almost like take you all in, processing for a second as he pauses, he says, "It wouldn't be any sort of over-exaggerated precaution to prepare the Horizon Initiative for a possible attack. Though, given what I've been informed of by my contacts, they seem to be the Council of Ilios seems to be spreading out across Cerdonia, but doesn't seem to be seeking out Anfarina at the moment. Corellin then says, "Very well. If they do not seem to want to harm us yet, then we will instead just take your word for it," gesturing to you all. "I will speak with the council, but I'm willing to discuss relieving the Horizon Initiative to you if and only if you are able to bring the last two vestiges that are that are lost to the wind. Although you don't need them for the Horizon Initiative, you might. Although we don't need them, I should correct myself. Although we don't need the vestiges, I'm sure Miss Zeneca. He's cut off again as you all turn around, and Cirilla Zenecosta is no longer standing where she had initially been addressed. Seemingly left the room, but nobody saw her leave. As she says,
Are her Einherjars still there?
"Are her what?"
Are her Einherjars still there?
Her and Harryar are not.
Okay.
As he says, "Who is not here anymore? Well, I suppose we can find another representative to escort you to the Horizon Initiative, to our main facility for the Horizon Initiative. I shall probably fetch someone from Asterinian, but nevertheless, please bask in our advancements in these Trojans, these asthma golems. But I will only bestow them onto you if you are able to find the last vestiges. Bring them, and you will have command. Plain and simple. If there is nothing else, we can adjourn the meeting." As he's looking
Thank
to
you for your
and also,
time.
"Very well. I propose that we adjourn this meeting." You see the two different counselors, second the opinion and third the opinion before Corellin replies, "All in favor?" The council raises their hands and Corellin says, "Very well. This meeting is adjourned." And with that, he snaps his fingers. The doors to the room all open, and everyone begins to file out with a large mass of commotion filling the air as the counselors all either apparate out of the room or simply walk. But something you notice is that Arya is still staring at Aravan, and Aravan has not gotten up. You see he's just sitting there, his fingers laced in front of him, placed on the table as he's just staring at you all. Possibly staring at a particular person, but it's not any of you.
Think I'll try to gauge how Arya is reacting in this moment.
Arya, as the gif in make an insight check actually.
I would love to.
With advantage because it is your sister.
I think that fits, yeah. Advantage. Where's my insight? Bad.
Okay, on a natural 20, to insight, to your
Oh
insight,
yeah.
you are almost certain that this is Dracula. Just from the deep-seated fear that you have not seen from your sister before. But
Okay.
you've seen. I will correct myself. You have not seen this fear,
Mhm.
not from another person, but from what she's told you. Every time she talks about this one person, you can see the fear that is emanating right now.
Oof. Okay. Remind me. From the stories I've heard, Dracula is generally very powerful or holds specific dominion over the people, over his subjects.
You have heard from Arya that Dracula von Zarovich has been seemingly taken control of one of the main islands of Kumalipo, shrouding, almost seeming to, with his own magic, shroud the entire island in an endless night, and terrorizing the civilians with his own creatures of the night, uh, mostly mostly almost demon-like in nature, but there's a little bit of a twist on his own end. Uh, but the most prominent you have heard is his brides of Dracula, as you've heard Arya referred them to, vixens, half vampires almost, mostly like Arya. But at the moment, he is accompanied by no one.
Okay. Well, what was the name he was going by again?
Erevan Ilisir.
Okay.
I can type that in the chat again. Let me just.
You did. It was with a different picture, so I thought it was the one,
Oh, okay.
a different person. Yeah.
Oh,
Um.
I didn't send Erevan with his photo because he was not
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Um. I I think based on what I know and seeing Arya's reaction, my instinct is avoidance here.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I will step between Arya and this person, but unless they're beckoning us forward, I do not make any effort to approach.
Okay. You are able to step in front of them, and it almost seems like Arya is pulled out of a trance as her gaze just drops and looks down to you, and looks at you. You could see a bead of sweat just dripping down the side of their face.
So I take it this is the problem we've been having past day.
Yep. Let's just go. Let's just go now.
Yep. And I'll motion to the rest of the group.
Okay. All right. So all of you are leaving the room at the moment.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Does nobody else wants to try to interact with any of the counselors or any of the other people around?
Who's the oldest looking counselor?
The oldest looking counselor? That's a good question. Most likely, if I look at my notes.
No, actually, can I make an insight check to see who hates us the least?
Who hates you the least?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you can make a general insight check. I'll say you collect this. Oh Jesus. I'm gonna say you collect this knowledge while they're all like there, because because at the moment they're all kind of just leaving, and their attitudes seem to almost shift. Some of them seem to shift, at least as their attention is drawn to now leaving this meeting. Cannot tell. They all seem ecstatic about this proposal. Honestly, there was a lot. There was a lot of like surprising, like they were like, "Oh wow, that's actually a really cool idea." From reacting to Corellin's proposal to you all.
Yeah. Then I think I'll approach Corellan and ask for a moment of time. More, I guess.
Okay. You see, Corellin is kind of is almost kind of he's watching everyone leave at the moment. Aravan is kind of just sitting there, almost staring daggers at Ardia, but Aravan has stood up, but is still placed at his seat, just watching as everyone leaves. So if you want to just approach the table, or if you want to just stay at the podium and try to have this conversation, you can.
No, I'll approach. Do like a small bow thingy. A, a moment more of your time, if you please. It's a simple question. It shouldn't take that long.
Could
You
you not have
wouldn't
asked
know
that
anything.
I'm sorry. Could you not have
It's
asked
not.
that during the
It's
meeting?
not. It's not part of the meeting. It's a personal matter. It doesn't involve the group or the council in particular. Anyone in the council in particular. It's just,
Very well.
a personal matter. You wouldn't happen to know the Raven Queen, would you? Doesn't ring any bells.
That sounds like an. Aravan, is the Raven Queen one of your titles? And he looks. Aravan at this point has stood up, and begun to leave. You see an umbrella. You see him pull out an umbrella that he just unfurls and rests on his shoulder as he looks to Corella, and he says, "The Raven Queen." Corellin just goes, "Yeah, yes. Is that one of your titles? You seem to have quite a lot of those." This one is asking about the Raven Queen. Haravan just stares and he's like, "Interesting. It is not one of my titles, and I am not too familiar with the Raven Queen, no. But I'm sure it is not hard to find that information." He was looking at Corellin, and now he's looking back down to you.
Fuck. I mean, it's a name I read on a stone somewhere, ancient looking. I'm sure it's nothing important though.
I need a deception check real quick.
Raven on the shoulder.
The blind man looking with this raven.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick. Let me just roll for him now.
I also have a raven cloak with a raven pin. In case the
Kinda do.
raven on the shoulder wasn't enough.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie, they rolled shit.
Good.
So you just see even with advantage, you see Aravan kind of squint a bit. Well, it is, from From what I've heard of the Raven Queen, she was a being of. She was one of the Arvandorians, I believe. A ancient race that was lost to time, and she died with them. Krellin's just like, is that is also the same? Was that the same as the Nahuatl? I'm so confused. As Erevan goes, it was one of the races, yes. The Nahuatl and the Arvandorians were both ancient races. But the Raven Queen was specifically one of the Arvandorians. But that is all I know of her. Okay.
Noted. Thank you for solving that completely unrelated battle. Now I'll be living if you
Is that one of the
don't
vestiges?
mind.
As Corel, like, you are paying attention to Erevan. At this point, you like turn back, and there's a like small sigil of arcane formed in front of Corellin's hand, which is reaching out towards you. Not like he's like actively reaching, just like a small hand gently reached out towards you, and with a small arcane sigil that he's just turning in his hand, and you see it glowing like this golden color as it's pinpointed on you. You immediately recognize detect magic, and he's looking directly at you with this spell as he asks, Is that one of the vestiges?
Perhaps it might be. Small
Well,
chance.
Makes it easier on your part. Now you just have to find one more.
We actually had that one more, but then we lost. We didn't lose the vestige. We lost the entire person that held the vestige.
So you lost the vestige.
I mean, yes, but we also lost an entire person. It's not like the vestige just fell somewhere.
Well, I mean,
An
one
entire
person
person
is not that.
disappeared.
One person is not that significant, especially if it was human. But the vestige, it's quite important, especially for you at this moment. It's not that important to me, but in your circumstances, I'd start looking again.
Yes, that's exactly what we're planning to do, I think.
I wish you more luck than my compatriots, as I believe I will have a lot of convincing to do.
Well, thank you for considering our proposal.
Of course, it's been boring. It's time for a little bit of action. Erevan, I will be seeing you, and I will be off. Unless you have more to discuss outside of your time to discuss.
No. Thank you for your time. We'll also be leaving. And I'll turn around and just start walking.
Okay. And Erevan just watches you leave. Does anyone else want to interact with any of the counselors as they're making their leave?
So we have not left yet. We were sitting here for this conversation.
If you want to have sat around for that conversation, you can. Or if you want to start talking to someone during that conversation, you can also do so.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure I heard Raven Queen because I don't think we've heard that name yet as a party. That was the big thing for me.
I think it was mentioned when Sammy first.
I think specifically you said you had not said the name around us. I could be wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
John's character hadn't said it around you guys, but when Sammy showed up, Sutton
Yeah,
probably.
okay.
I think Sutton had name dropped the Raven Queen. I think at some point.
Okay. So this is just
I
our
think
first
there were-
negotiation with Lokir and the Raven Queen.
Yeah.
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 If it wasn't already obvious, as we have discussed.
You could have just really liked birds.
I
This is
mean,
the
I do
first-
also have a turtle, right? So who knows?
That's
Maybe
true.
I'm just
Maybe you
collecting
just like
animals.
animals, and like,
Yeah.
I mean, are you gonna get a cloak made of turtle shell? No, you're gonna get a cloak of raven feathers.
He's actually
Yeah.
been a warlock of the Fathomless this entire time, and fucking Domus is his patron.
Actually, not even a warlock, just a druid. Pretending.
All right. So, if nobody else wants to interact with any of the counselors on their way out, we can continue forward. Corellin had mentioned that you all will be getting a new representative assigned to you in order to tour you through the Horizon Initiative. Are you all waiting just in the capital for that, or do you want to do something else
also,
while?
maybe to get to the back door. So when is it going?
At this point, I have very patiently been waiting to go pick up my fancy technology. So
Okay.
I may be doing that.
Okay. Uh, uh. So are you waiting for the representative for the technology, or are you going out to like the marketplace trying to find the tech?
I'm going out to the market. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'll have taken Arya with me as like a let's get far away from the bad man.
Okay.
Mhm.
You all make your leave. Is anyone else accompanying Akamero and Arya?
Morgan will. She wants to see the city a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Alright. So with-
Someone has to wait for the actual representative, though.
Oh yeah. I'll wait.
No, it's fine. I'll do it. I wanted to explore some stuff.
Okay. So, you all begin to make your way to the. Let me just. All right. So you all begin to make your way over to, through the city, in order to, so just to clarify, it is Arya, Akamero, Daisy, and Viserys that are going to the market, and Lokir is waiting for the representative.
Now Viserys will wait with Lokir for the representative.
Okay.
I'll
With that,
before you, I offer Lokir Viserys. If there's anything you'd like me to pick up for you, let me know. Seems fair.
I'm good.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
All right.
Okay. So with that, as you all make your way into the village, could I get an investigation check from whoever would like to?
I would like to.
Okay.
How's that? Ooh, not good.
So you are just looking for. So, Akamero is looking for the magical wrist devices. And what is Morgan looking for?
She's just generally seeking out anything that looks interesting.
Okay.
Almost
With
like
that-
retcon kind of thing. Recon,
With
sorry.
that in mind, Morgan, you all step out of the capital, and initially you had come with a purpose, a goal. So there was almost a sort of tunnel vision, trying to make your way straight to the capital to have this meeting. But now you have a sense of free time, And now you're able to actually look around at this city, and it is bright. It is the best way you could describe it is bright. The main color, the entire city has a almost primary color of white, stainless white that almost seems to that glistens in the sun. Uh, with highlights of blues and greens that intricately highlight the rooftops, the and all of the different buildings that you see all throughout this grand city. Uh, as for the marketplace, you are you find that you are almost able to find everything. Anything you could possibly imagine is anything you could possibly like think about being here is here. It's strange that that with such a isolated society, you find that they have an abundance of foreign cultures and foreign objects that doesn't seem to be accessible here in Ampharina. How limited you have actually seen of Ampharina. Everything is here except for the wrist devices.
God.
As no matter how hard you manage to scan this marketplace, they don't seem to be selling this equipment in the marketplace.
All right then. If there's nothing else of note that would, or sorry, uh, if that's the case, then my other priority would just be finding like magical scrolls or tomes I could borrow from.
Okay. Looking about magical scrolls and tomes, you would find a. Ooh, actually, let me take a look. See, let me take a look. See, at something real quick. Checking my notes. Okay. Looking about, there seems to be a there seems to be smaller, almost apartment complexes that make up a majority of the city. Uh, there seems the marketplaces almost seem to be squashed into what little room there is um, throughout the city streets, seemingly seeming placed almost like a lemonade stand directly outside of these houses, and almost blocking the entrances to some of these houses. But even so, with all of these small yet tall in size buildings, there are a few massive complexes that seem to stand out. One of them, you find, is a library. A massive library that's placed only about a mile or two away from the actual capital itself. This um, massive library has bits of advertisement placed about. New books and new stories being released. Advertisements of both non magical and magical items and scrolls and tomes, all being sold here. The problem is that when you enter and begin looking about at this grand library, this seems to have an abundant set of stories, both one on the base level, another that goes up, and another 5 that go into an underground level. You find that they charge a ridiculous price, as looking about, they are double the price of all of these different magical items than what you are normally used to, either in Ithaca or wherever you have been to purchase these items. Are you looking for anything specifically?
1 second.
Morgan, with the understanding of like everything you could possibly want is here except for the one thing Akamero is looking for. Are you looking for anything in particular, or are you also just basking around and following Akamero and the Patir twins?
I'm just wandering around with them, taking in the sights.
Okay.
Don't get to enjoy a big city often.
All right. Okay. You said everything's double the price here. What does that look like?
Normally you'd find that certain spell scrolls are about 100 gold per level,
Mm-hmm.
with 50 gold for cantrips if they even have them, if they're even accessible. You find that it is literally double the price.
So I cannot afford anything. All right. And there's no rental option?
There doesn't seem to be there seems to be rental options specifically for wizards, but it's still about a third. It's still only about a 3/4. It's still like 3/4 of the price.
Okay. And if I remember correctly, putting spells in a spellbook also costs money.
It does.
Okay, so I straight up just can't afford it. All right. Then that's my time.
Okay. I shall also point out that the price for the spells that if you want to rent them, they are. It seems that they are aware that those that want to rent are intending to copy, so it is only a third of the pro. It is only 3/4 of the price, but it also covers the materials you would need to write it in. So essentially, it's 3/4 the price of what it normally is. So it's 1.5 times what it normally is for a spell scroll, and you get the temporary access to that spell scroll and the means to copy it. So the copying process would be free, basically.
Okay. Do I want to do that? No, I'm going to hold out.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything else you would like to look for?
No. Seems like I'm better off not getting anything here.
Okay. One thing I will say on your way in and out, you do find that there is that one of the counselors actually runs this, or rather seems to run this library, as one of the counselors makes their way through the library. One Labellus Enereth, the elven folk with a eye patch across his face, stark white hair, straightened down past behind him, and this sharp light blue color of a suit that seems to decorate his attire. As he makes his way As he makes his way in, he seems to be discussing with some, what looks to be secretaries or some lower workers of the library, as he seems to be conversing over the events of the council meeting before waving the secretary away as he continues his way uh, somewhere into the library. You're not entirely sure where.
Which one was this? Did you say?
This is Labellus Enereth. The image-wise, it's the third image.
The one with the spear.
Uh, new. It's so the images in the in-game
Eye
chat.
patch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eye patch.
Yep.
He
Okay.
does look a little bit older than in that photo. He looks more like he's in his like 40s or 50s.
Okay. What was his make of the group? Did he reflect anything?
I will say make either insight or history. Actually, I'll say insight because history would. I'll say insight just and we'll call this just insight while you were actually in the building.
That's 13 less than my history.
Okay.
Right.
On a 15, he seems curious. He doesn't seem to take any sort of side in the matter. Though surprised about Corellan's offer, he doesn't seem to express any sort of disdain nor support. He seems to be a very neutral figure in that debate, preferring to stay silent. In fact, I do not believe, if I recall, he had actually said anything the entire time. The entire time he was in the meeting, and didn't seem to contribute either. He just seemed to be a listener, and seemed to be observing, but with a sense of curiosity.
I'll try to approach him.
Okay.
Counselor.
You see, at first he doesn't seem to pay you any heed, but as he's just making his way through, I will also like to point out that all of them are about like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
As he makes his way through, passing you by before you call out to him, he stops and gives this very like, very unnatural turn, very unnatural like, just straight turn. He doesn't even seem to like pivot his foot. He just seems to just turn and look down at you. Can I help you?
I just wanted to pay my respects. If you appear to run this place, correct?
I do, in fact, own this library.
I appreciate someone who gathers knowledge and shares it with those they can. It's a noble profession, and I respect it.
I appreciate that. I am the lead archivist of this entire nation, so it comes with the why am I blanking on what I would? It comes with
Responsibility.
It comes with the position.
Of course. I imagine it also occupies much of your time administrating.
Indeed. Is there something you wish of me? Or do you wish to just exchange gratitude?
I suppose I have a proposition for you. It appears you do have a vast sum of knowledge here. I would reckon the only library known to better this one would be that of Strixhaven. Having been there myself, I was familiar with it.
You, Strixhaven.
Yes. A short
Interesting.
tenure.
How? I do not believe that possible. The school was destroyed almost 800 years ago.
I did not. There are remnants that still remain, of course.
Ah, I see.
I'm gonna brush past, or sorry, I'm brushing past that entirely. Um,
Was that
sorry,
just
how do
like a was that just a miscommunication
Yeah,
on your end?
sorry, I meant to not, I meant to not stop there. There are remnants that remain of Strixhaven,
Ah,
amongst them being some sections of their library. Much of it is lost, unfortunately, but I am sure there is a tome or two not in your collection that could find its way there. And I would be happy to aid in this.
I assure you that everything is in my library, and I do not need the assistance of vultures.
Do not
Is this
appreciate
your-
being called a vulture.
Is this your method of intending to convince me to appeal to the council?
Oh, no, no such capacity. I was simply offering a proposition to acquire materials
In exchange?
in exchange for me providing materials you may not have had. If you're so insistent that you have everything that was ever in in the Strixhaven library, then I suppose I would have nothing to offer. But if there's even one tome that may have had its way there and not found itself here, I would have simply offered an exchange.
What specifically do you seek of my library?
In my reputable service of the councils that I come from, uh, they were not kind enough to share many resources. They hoarded them. As such, I simply do not carry the wealth to check out the many resources you have yourself. I was simply asking for a literal exchange of materials, perhaps even as a loan.
I see. Well, as much as I enjoy expanding on my collection, I do not believe you have the capabilities of doing such, but rather, though I know you seem to be preoccupied with your current mission, if you wish to perform a task in order a rather difficult task, I may point out and emphasize, we may discuss a portion of we may discuss a either discount or exchange of my knowledge.
I knew a person of letters would be able to approach some agreement. Please do share.
It is not a matter I wish to discuss publicly, and I know you have your own matters to attend to.
Of course.
You are
Name a time and place.
I believe you are off to Osterinian at the moment. But if you do wish to perform a task, which again I will emphasize will most likely engulf your entire your entire. It is a rather dangerous and a rather dangerous quest that I request of you, that I request of you, and the reward would be a substantial access to this library. I will add, but know that that should be a warning more than it is an opportunity. Please discuss with your patrons whether or not you wish to go about it. It may stall your necessity for the Trojan, but if you do so wish for for my knowledge, then we can meet. We will meet when you rest.
All right, then. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll take my leave. And not mention a word of this to anyone else.
Okay. All right. You leave the line. Which, by the way, is Daisy with Akamero, or is Arya with Akamero when they're having this conversation?
So Daisy's probably a little way back with Arya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
I pointed out the coloring books and Arya got distracted.
Just taking full advantage of that intelligence dump stat. Just new colors. I don't even know what their stat is in intelligence.
I don't think
Probably
it's low
not
because they
high.
are Eldritch Knight. I think
They
they're
are
like
Eldritch Knight, yeah. Oh, it's a 16.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
They're also probably interested in the library, just because I think they have a wizard spell list. They have access to wizard spells.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, you all make your leave.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, we are going to come back to Viserys and Lokir. What do either of you do in your spare time as you wait within the halls of the capital?
Having a middle of the conversation. I was like, wait, so why is it ravens? Why not like an owl or like a hawk? Maybe an eagle. Eagles are badass.
Sure. Thing is, I never was given a choice. It kind of happened, and it's better than the alternative, which is not having the raven.
Yeah,
And in case
yeah.
you haven't noticed, I kind of lack eyes. So
Totally. Yeah, I mean, well, black is very slimming on you. It looks good. Didn't know if it was a personal preference.
I mean, again, kind of forced onto me, but it's not that bad. I mean, at least I'm not some. I was about to say I'm not some pawn in a bigger war, but I'm still a pawn in a bigger war, but a different pawn, I guess. At least I have a bit more autonomy than I did before,
Yeah.
which is good. But to be honest, the situation hasn't changed much. I was a pawn in a war I didn't understand, and now I'm a pawn in a different war that I don't understand. Because I guess people just do not really like disclosing information to their soldiers, you know? That'd be
Oh,
that'd make our lives too easy, wouldn't it?
yeah. Knowledge is power, and we are but
You
mere
have
turtles.
no idea how correct you are. As literally just like out of nowhere, from behind Viserys, just pops out this this tall and lengthy humanoid. Not as tall, not taller than Viserys, but still very lengthy. This this human with this ragged short hair and this well tailored but also ragged stuff underneath of a suit. I don't know the names of I don't know men clothing. But just a suit without the suit. So as he stands there, his a long sleeve shirt cuffed at the shoulders at the elbows. What the fuck am I doing right now? At the elbows with a big smile on his face as he looks to you and he says, "You have no idea how correct you are on that."
No, I assume you're the person that's going to show us around.
Yes, actually, and I will also like to point out one thing that I forgot to mention. He also has an umbrella,
Fuck.
as he's just resting it on his shoulder with the biggest smile on his face as he's like, as he says, as he says, "Oh yes, I have been specifically requested by my headmaster, to escort you to Asterinian."
And your headmaster wouldn't happen to be Erevan, would he?
He would actually. That's so weird. How do you know that?
Just a guess.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you, Mr.
Loki felt hurt.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Fellhart. And, looks to Viserys.
Viserys. Just Viserys.
Interesting. Well, it is a pleasure to meet you. I am Sir Montague. I will be, I don't know why I was chosen, but we'll find out. Knowledge is power.
Can I insight check that I don't know why I was chosen?
Yeah, sure. As he's looking, it's like, I do believe I recall there were more of you, correct? I believe there was 5?
Yes, there are 3 more that went out to the market for a quick stroll. I assume they'll be back shortly.
With a 19 to insight. Everything about him seems genuine in the weirdest fucking way possible. Like he seems so adamantly happy about everything going on and so curious and bubbly, but it's so like there's something fucking wrong with this guy. If you couldn't already tell.
Yeah, I'm not trusting that guy.
Well, I believe if we
A great
like
coincidence though that you master, you know.
It's no coincidence. It's just your previous ambassador of the asthma golems was disposed of. Well, not disposed of, but indisposed. So Erevan offered his ambassador. Me.
Yes, I mean, 13 counselors, just so happens that, you know. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm sure there's no coincidence. Can we find out where exactly your friends,
So,
your friends are? There's quite a tight agenda.
And the market looking for the risk thingies you guys seem to have.
On a 19 to insight, you notice, like, when he emphasized, I'm sure there's nothing to be worried about, there was a sharp shift in his attitude. It was like, there was a click and then a click back as soon as he, it was almost just like it's like, there's nothing wrong. I'm sure there's nothing wrong. Can we go find your friends?
Sure.
Excellent.
One question about the Raven Queen. Has Loki ever contacted her first?
Oh, I thought you were asking him about the Raven Queen.
No, 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 no. I'm good.
I was like, one more time.
Has Loki ever contacted her first?
Like, you have reached out to her.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up to you.
I'll say probably not because he's probably never tried. Yeah. Okay, so I'll look at the guy. So I need to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
take your time.
Very dark.
Take your time. We are quite a
Yeah.
tight schedule, but I'm sure we can wait for 5 minutes.
Yes. Also, where is the, bathroom?
I think there's a bathroom somewhere. I'm not quite familiar with this place.
Yeah, I'll find it. It's fine. I'll just find the quiet corners that he's not looking.
Okay. He just like watches you go and then turns his attention to Viserys. Just this still big smile on his face.
Yeah, so, been to any good beaches lately?
No. You see, working with Aravan is almost. You see, working with my headmaster, there's not a lot you can. There's not a lot of sunshine.
Yeah. Okay. Is he a fair employer?
Yes, he's quite a lovely headmaster.
Yeah. How did he come to his position on the council?
Well, if I recall correctly, I wasn't alive for that, but if I recall correctly from my knowledge, from prior knowledge, he was part of the he took part in the excision. Excision, I believe it's the correct pronunciation.
Forgive my ignorance. What is this excision?
Oh, the excision was the conflict that took place between the Nahuatl and the Ampharinians once they made their way over to Ampharina.
Oh. And the golem technology would have had its roots in this event, that they would have brought the
Oh, sure, the
The
Nahuatl are the
golems with them.
technology. The Nahuatl race is the technology.
right. Is there any prior history of your master prior to the excision? Any tales of heroism? Any special events?
There's quite a lot of history. Quite a lot of history. There's quite a lot of history. Unfortunately, Aravan is not as old enough to have much history outside of what's recorded for Ampharina's sake. I believe he was only about 50 to 150 when he took part in the excision, and then he became part of the council, and then took place in foreign affairs, and that's been most of his preoccupation.
And of these foreign affairs, was he integral in the building of any other communities outside of Ampharina?
Oh, no. The intermingling in foreign affairs is not his job. It's merely to record and document it. He's been keeping track of everything going on in Cerdonia.
All right.
What is your passive perception?
14.
14. You see a tear go down the side of his face, while still having the biggest smile on his face.
Is everything all right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Don't want to be pressing into
Your
someone's
friend is taking
personal
quite
affairs.
some time in the bathroom. And as we turn to
Yeah,
here,
he's got
what exactly are you doing in this corner?
So I'm gonna talk to the Raven, hoping that the Raven Queen can listen to it.
Okay.
So I've never tried this before because I didn't have any reason to. But we need to find your other follower that disappeared, and one would think that since she's your follower, you would have some knowledge on where she's at. Could you please send any signs as to where I can look?
What is your spellcasting ability?
Spellcast ability?
Yes.
What do you mean by spellcast ability?
Which one do you use to
Oh,
cast? Like, what's your primary?
Charisma.
Charisma. Okay. Could I get a charisma check?
Fuck.
Okay. The bird. Well, your eyes stare at yourself, and nothing happens.
Great. Oh, I thought that would work, but anyways, and I'll just go back to the
Okay.
group.
As you turn the corner, you hear Sir Montague go, "Your friend is taking quite a lot of time in the bathroom. Hi!"
Yeah. Hello. I couldn't find it at first.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard to find. Now, speaking of finding, shall we find your friends?
Yeah, sure.
Very well. I believe that I don't know. I don't know where they went.
I mark it. They're looking for the wrist things you people have on.
Oh. Well, I don't have one of those, but I'm sure I know exactly what you're talking about, and he's not gonna find it. Well, let's go find him.
All right. That's yeah. As we're going to the market, do we pass by any butcher shops or meat stalls?
I imagine you would pass like a butcher shop, yeah, just a random
Yeah.
stand with just almost like a random market stand with bits of hide of strange animals you haven't seen before, just strung up.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take a quick side sidestep over to the stall and talk to the butcher.
Okay. At the stand is this like burly, muscular wood elf that seems to be just sitting around bored as he looks up to you and is like, as he says, "What can I get for you?"
A pint of your finest blood.
Blood. Don't really hold on
Yeah.
to that stuff. What do you need blood for? If I
You
may
know,
ask.
cooking up a good soup. Good soups need good blood. You know,
This is why I don't
making
go
a
to
pudding.
Ostarinian. This is why I don't go to Ostarinian. I don't use the blood. I just dispose of it. So, fucking. He just hands you a bucket and that's like half full, and you can see that he picks it up from underneath one of the strewn carcasses. So it looks like he's been basically draining the blood, and he just hands you the drain bucket. And he's just, I don't, I just dispose of it. So free of charge.
Sweet. Nothing like free.
Yeah.
What, and may I ask, what flavor of blood is this? What animal?
Um, he like slowly turns around towards the towards the animal. As he uh as he turns back to you, and he just says, bear cub.
Bear cub. Oh, nice and tender. Yeah, that's what we like to see. Thank you very much, mate.
You're not really
Have
tender.
a good one.
Okay. He's just standing there pondering, like, your tender blood. Do you want the bear? You just walk off. as as you now have a half bucket of bear cub blood.
You get the bucket for free too?
Yeah, you got the bucket for free. It's a bucket.
Free bucket. This is
It's a
we.
bucket. That's the weirdest. Weirdly, that's the weirdest thing I've been asked at the market. At the market, fucking, fucking bear blood. Okay. So, you both make your way through the market. Eventually, you do cross paths as Akamero, Arya, and Morgan are all stepping out of the library. And Arya has seemed to calm down a bit. The books that Morgan had distracted her with seems to be helping. As soon as she looks at Sir Montague, it fucking she clicks back into absolute fear, and immediately draws her blood scimitar as it just apparates in a column of blood in her hand and just points it straight at Sir Montague with the most deep-seated fear in her eyes. As Montague looks and he says, "Oh, I didn't expect you to be here. Actually, no, I did. Hi." He's just looking with the fucking scimitar blade like literally an inch away from his face. I'm assuming this is your... Yes, they are. Hi.
Huh. I guess you two know each other.
Oh, yes, quite.
Does she have a good
Hey,
reason
Mark.
to be threatening you at the moment?
I mean, kinda.
All right then, I'll let it stand.
Well, it's more of a rekindling of lost friends. It's more of a rekindling more than it is a I'm going to kill you right now. But we've had our troubles. Arya just like with the blade in front, just like looking at Montague, just goes, "This is one of." Arcamero, this is one of the vixens, specifically the vixen.
Oh. Huh. Yeah, that's about as good a...
The
that's-
vixen, not even a vixen, or bride if you refer, if that. But yeah, I mean, I'm as much of a bride as you are, Arya. Anyways, I believe I have been assigned as your representative to take you to the Horizon Initiative in Osterinian. Arya just says, "Nope, I'm not fucking doing this. Anyone else?"
I will trust my sister on this one. May I ask what your master's connection to the Horizon Initiative is?
Not really any connection to the Horizon Initiative specifically, but it was more of there was a position that needed to be filled. And
So
my
you're the
master
connection.
And my master thought it would be necessary. It would be a good idea if I was put in that position, at least until Miss Zenacosta comes back, and whenever she decides to come back.
So, if your master doesn't have any connection with them, you're here to keep an eye on us.
Well, keep an eye on you. Show you around the Horizon Initiative. It's mostly the same thing.
Uh-huh.
I'll push Arya's blade down. I don't like this either, but I don't see we have another option.
She just looks and she says, "I can think of a few different options."
We are guests, and tenuous ones at that. I don't believe it wise to. Can we even kill him? Is that a thing? I don't know if you've
Quite. And it quite involves, and I can think of many different ways we can go about that.
We'll leave that option open for later.
You just turn back to Arkham to Montague, and he still has the biggest smile on his face.
Yeah.
Hey, Bedoria, check it out. I got a bucket of blood. And then as I'm saying bucket of blood, just shove it uncomfortably close to Arya's face.
You see Arya just shit, okay. But you see Montague just like Montague is like staring at that blood. But,
Should I get a straw? I can go get
Arya
a
is kind of
straw.
just like, "I appreciate the sentiment. You can, I'll have that later."
Okay. Just hold on to it then.
Meanwhile, you see that Montague's face his smile has dropped as he just looks at the blood.
What's the going rate for blood around here?
Well, it's free. They just giving stuff away. I even got a bucket.
Yes, it's quite free.
I resist the urge to smack him up the side of the head or say anything about free buckets, and I message him. We could have said like 100 gold pieces and like offered it to this guy.
Yeah, I'm sure they know the going rate. They live here.
Again, in message, he doesn't strike me as the type to buy blood.
Yeah,
You're quite right with that.
I had that feeling too.
Reading my message cantrip?
Yeah, he responds vocally.
I don't like that. I do not
Anyways.
like that.
Anyways, shall we go to Osterinian? I believe there's a teleportation pad nearby.
Lead the way.
Splendid. And he makes his merry little way over to towards the teleportation pad, twirling his little umbrella in his hand. Meanwhile, Arya has still not put away the scimitar.
I'll stay close to Arya, but I do not coerce her in any manner.
Okay. With that, let me wait, that's real quick. Okay. So with that, you all begin to make your way to one of the nearby teleportation pads. Everybody that Montague interacts with is uncomfortable with their interaction. And not in a sense of, this guy is fucking weird and I don't know what's his deal. There's a sense of recognition, like he is well known in the worst way possible. But nevertheless, he makes his way. He goes through the process of registering you all for a jump pad, clocking in Osterinian, and you all are teleported to Osterinian. And immediately you find that the whole of this like the light and the bright white and the gleaming city of Thulacone is shut out by dark stone of a cave. As the jump pad, as you all teleport into this new setting, it takes your eyes all a second. Even those with dark vision, it takes a second for them to adjust from this bright gleaming white to the stark contrasting darkness of this cave. But nevertheless, it is lit by faint torchlights. And as Montague seems to effortlessly make their way around, like they know exactly where they're going. You eventually find yourselves realizing that you are within a mine shaft, a massive city, what looks to be underground. That almost gives off the entire resemblance of a mine shaft. It's this small city. It's not as grandiose as the cities you've been to. But it still seems to be rather large and bustling with life. The most prominent features of this city is that it's all it takes up this space of this large cone enclave in the mountain that you seem to all be in. And the buildings all fill the space on the floor and also on the walls of this city. And you find yourself actually looking, and you all actually find yourself through some sort of either magic or science. You find yourselves upside down. You don't feel like you're upside down, but the weird disillusion of how this place is arranged, you can feel that it's almost like you're on a mount. You can feel yourself on a mountain and you are all walking along upside down along the inside of one of these sides, as you find yourself in a large, crowded city filled with Dragonborn, as that makes up the massive populace of this city. There are still a large crowd of elves that seem to dot the area, but this city seems to the city of Ostarinian seems to be predominantly Dragonborn.
Yay.
He
Viserys in his
vocalizes out
element.
loud.
Yes. Yeah, this is the first time Viserys has been surrounded by the Dragonborn. Usually he's the dot in the crowd that stands out. Now he's, you know, these are his people.
Okay. So while Viserys is gleaming with joy, you all continue to follow Montague through this village, which similarly has different sort of marketplaces and different buildings strewn about. You can see different. You can see majority of the buildings seem to be for purposes of forgery or seem to be storage for all of the different minerals that seem to be collected. As you can see in different pockets, very similar to the one you had walked out of for the teleportation pad, there seems to be lines of mine carts and entrances to different mine shafts dotting both the wall, dotting all different sides of the mine shaft of this city, essentially of this space. Let me just verify. Okay. You all continue forward. Towards the. You all continue forward. Around you, on top of the Dragonborn, what looks to be massive machinations, very similar to the Nahuatl. But I say very similar, meaning the overall style and the appearance. Theme-wise, their physical appearance is nothing like you've seen before. The most prominent you see are these small machines, bipedal in nature, but almost taking on the appearance of a one-eyed raptor as they trot their way through the city in what seems to be packs of three. A massive glowing eye of radiating orange watches like an eye at the on their head as they scan the entire air. You can hear bits of chatter in a language in an indiscernible language that seem to be as they almost seem to be trying to communicate with each other as they make their way through. You watch as Montague just gleefully just watches them go and just says, "They're quite fine, interesting. I believe those ones are called watchers," which is quite fun. Which is quite fun because they do a lot of watching.
Do they watch for anything in particular?
They're mostly the secure. They're mostly I believe there's like different classes of different of these different machines, and I believe those ones are part of recon. So essentially, they're there so that the actual defenses don't have to be out and about all the time because they're quite large.
Looking around at the type of work, do we notice any kind of class system when it comes to, does Viserys notice any kind of class system as a part to the type of work that's being done. I.e., there are some elves dotted around. They seem to be like carrying clipboards and supervising type of capacity, or the dragonborn hauling rocks and holding pickaxes, that type of stuff.
The it seems that the people of this uh seem to mostly be the Dragonborn seem to be the ones that seem to be doing most of the labor, but that seems to just be because they uh it almost seems like the elves that are out and about are just watching, wandering around. They don't seem to have any sort of purpose that they're at the moment. They just seem to be passing by or travelers. The Dragonborn that make up this place seem to be doing most of the advanced work. And I say advanced as in they seem to be doing most of the smelting, most of the forgery, while the basic like mining and heavy lifting and almost certain construction elements are done by a variety of these different machines similar to the Watchers you had just passed. It seems like there's a bit of like it seems like there's a bit of shared labor between the Dragonborn and the Asmogolems, but the Asmogolems seem to be at a lower tier than the Dragonborn, and the elves don't seem to be native to Osterinium.
Alright.
But yeah, nevertheless, you carry on through. One of the big machines that you do end up seeing is this massive is this you see emerging out of one of the mine entrances that dot this cave. Almost takes on the appearance of a giant woolly mammoth, as it seems to be carrying an abundance of minerals that seem to be strewn about. That seem to be strewn about. It's like these massive tusks that seem to step out. That it seems to be just holding out like a tray as it makes its slow emergence from the cave entrance, followed shortly behind by another like pack of these Watchers. As you just see that the machine kind of just lays it about and drops it on the ground, drops it for other machines that seem to begin grinding and breaking down the rock, extracting minerals from this machine. These ones seem to take on the almost appearance of what looks to be small. You're not entirely sure what they're supposed to take on. They seem to be taking on the appearance of uh, basic quadrupedal animals, almost. As as But nevertheless, unless any of you want to like bring that up or like ask anything out loud to anyone, including Montague, which by the way, that's the appearance of the Watchers that you pass along the way. Just very less metal and more stone in nature. Spencer just immediately recognizes them.
I just read up on this to make magic items.
uh, Nevertheless, they seem to be made more of stone than they are of metal. But nevertheless, they take on a very striking appearance, very similar to that. And so do an abundance of all of these other machines. But nevertheless, Montague says, Right. So I believe that there over there is a massive. There is the well, I believe it's called. As you look where he's pointing at the at this circular base of this city, where in which at the center point is this massive looks like a well, but I say well as in it is a giant opening in the ground, a giant circular opening in the ground that seems to drop, never ending. As it as a it's a giant, just a giant opening 50 feet in diameter, just in the middle of the circular area of the mountain. As he says, the well is where is the general entrance to where the Asmogolem facilities are in place, and those are where the Asmogolems are constructed. But I'm not entirely familiar with all of the different machines or navigating through the well, as I've never really been myself. So if there's anything specifically you want to try to find, I'm sure you, I'm sure I can be able to try to find it for you, Renfield. As you all hear a secondary voice away from Renfield, now being addressed as Renfield finally. As Sir Montague turns, seems to have his smile clocks away as he turns around in fear, almost clapping his hands around over his ears at the reaction to the name Renfield. Before you is a large and tall humanoid, dressed in this elegant attire of almost looks like brass scale mail, shaped in an elegant in a very well tailored suit. As this tan skinned human looking figure, almost human if not half elven, with the weird formation of his ears. You could see look at still towering, slightly taller than Viserys, as he looks down unamused and with a slight hint of annoyance towards Sir Montague, as he says, Renfield, what are you doing here? Renfield turns with still with fear and says, I was assigned to escort these people through the well, and to show them around the Trojan and the Asmogolems. Sorry, different name. He doesn't seem fazed by anything he said, and he looks up to the rest of you and he says, "Are you important in any way? I'm assuming you are, because nobody gets a tour of the well."
We had just struck an accord with the council and are being shown around. Out of character, why are we being shown around again? Was this just to kill time?
From what you were told, you were essentially tried to convince the court that the Nahuatls are easily taken over by the demons, and they were like, "Ha, fuck you! Wait, why don't we show you what we've been working on?" Because
okay.
They're much better than your shits. Which, by the way, I keep fucking forgetting you have a 40-foot tall Nahuatl golem just hulking around behind you at all times. Which probably would have drawn this guy's attention a lot faster, but nevertheless, I will.
It's an easy thing to miss. It's an easy thing to miss. It's just a 40-foot tall golem.
Yeah.
By the way, I meant to ask while you're doing the description of the place. Can we tell what they're actually producing here?
It seems to be a place for weaponry and forgery. They seem to be forging either weapons, armor, stuff you would have seen worn by the Griffin Guard on the way in, but also some attire that you don't recognize. But also there was an abundance of different places you would have seen that seemed to be that seemed to be stoneworking places, and seemed to be stoneworking places just randomly shaping random objects and bits and pieces. What is your what is your passive investigation?
Ooh, passive investigation. That might be a lot higher
It
than
would
my
just be
passive
8
perception.
it would just be 8 plus your proficiency plus your investigation modifier.
My investigation's a +9, so you said 8 plus proficiency plus investigation?
8 plus proficiency plus investigation.
That would be 20.
20. You definitely recognize some of the stonework as components of the asthma golems.
Yeah, okay.
They seem to be doing their own sort of repairs that cannot be done in the well or wherever they get manufactured. They seem to be making their own repairs towards the asthma golems.
Okay.
Nevertheless, this new figure seems to ask you, why are you important?
Um,
We're gonna save the world.
Essentially, yes.
Basically, we've been made aware of a weakness in the original Nahuatl golems that leaves them open to demonic possession, and we kind of wanted to be sure that the asthma golems don't have the same defect. As I'm sure you can imagine, that would be quite catastrophic.
Yes, I. So Renfield is bringing you to check in to make sure the asthma golems we've been working on don't fuck up in ways I don't understand are fucking up. Is that what I'm
Yeah, he wasn't our first choice either. No offense. Sir
and
Montague, whatever your name is.
assuming the 40-foot tall one behind you is peak condition.
He could use a
He's the
spa
only one
day.
left.
He refused the spa day treatment, but he is intact, yes.
You could definitely probably do something about that, but I don't understand.
I offered, he declined.
Would I be able to? Indeed, would I? Let me just ask. Why Renfield? Because where is Cirilla?
Cirilla appears to have abandoned her post for the moment. Straight up left in the middle of the council meeting.
I'm sure it was
That is
unavoidable.
that is actually normal. Renfield, get the fuck out. As Renfield
Instantly my favorite person.
And Renfield's like, I'm sure. And Renfield just drops and he's like, but I'm supposed to be. Fuck off. And Renfield's just like, I will hang around. Fuck off. He slowly backs away and slowly you just see him slowly see Renfield disappear into the crowd. Don't want any fucking Aravan shit in my business. Anyways. Walk with me. As he turns around and begins following in what seems to be generally the same direction as where Renfield was going. As he continues, so first of all, which one of you is in charge?
I'd motion for Viserys.
I like to see it's more of a collaborative effort, but sure,
Wait, so do you
why
all
not?
live? I'm assuming you three. It points to. I'm assuming you four points to the two tieflings, the the half elf and the Shattercut, and the actually points just to Akamero, Morgan, and Arya. And he's like, I'm assuming you don't live here, but do you two live here? Points to John and points to Lokir and Viserys. Are you all Ampharinians?
No, can't take pleasure on that one.
Right. Okay. And you're in charge. So explain to me why you are. What exactly is wrong with, well, what are you looking for in my machines?
Well, he's old as fuck, and we
This
want to
one?
make sure that he cannot be possessed.
So are you looking for specifically for us to fix yours, or because you came in with the impression that you were coming to fix ours? Is it the other way around?
Our goal
A
is
bit
not.
of both.
Our goal is The council is trying to convince us no such weakness exists in your models. We believe that this weakness still remains and will soon be exploited if not for our mutual
What
action.
is that weakness? I'm talking to you now. And what is that weakness?
Our
This guy
golem.
got puppeted by an Abasu. Like, fully controlled,
An
piloted up.
Abasu. That's interesting. What's
There
an
were 6 of
Abasu?
his. A demon, a powerful one.
A demon.
There were 6 of his kind on the island, and he is the only survivor.
So 2 demons showed up to tell me there's a problem with demons. Followed by a demon.
We are demon kin. This one is no longer possessed. It was driven out by us.
He was pointing in the direction of Renfield.
Listen. The second you told him to get out of here, you instantly gained my respect, and it appears you've gained Arya's as well. We are no fan of his master.
I don't blame you. That Aravan, I have no idea what goes on in foreign politics, but I do not care. Anyways. So, it's a demon problem. It's awesome, because we haven't actually had a demon problem yet. So is this one not from Ampharina?
No.
Okay.
No, we picked him up on Polyphemus.
Polyphemus. That's awesome. Where is Polyphemus?
It's off the coast of what's the continent called? Give me a minute.
Jalv.
Yeah.
Zov.
It's off.
Now that's
Yes.
even more interesting. What's Zov? You can tell I have no idea what goes on outside of Ampharina.
It's an entirely separate continent.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Yes.
So a random island outside of a random continent
Yes.
is where you found that thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
I gotta talk with
Just
Cirilla,
far,
because
far
I have
away.
no idea how. I gotta talk with Cirilla because she'll know, but like I have no idea how many. Are there more Asmogolems outside of Ampharina?
Oh, yes,
Well,
definitively.
So, okay.
It is largely the reason we're here. Do you know what they're for?
What they're for now, or what they were for? Because Cirilla's informed
What they
me of
were for and what they're still for.
What they were for was to take care of something. But now
There's a specific
what they're now for is to take care of anything outside of Ampharina.
So you have appropriated a tool for the savior of all people. These creations, despite their weakness to demons, are our only defense. And the repurposing of them.
I haven't said there is a weakness to demons yet. We haven't even.
We're assuming that's the case because that's kind of like the old ones have this issue. You didn't know was an issue, so you probably didn't make any effort to correct the issue.
Well, I'm sure it came upon. It happened. I'm sure it was a circumstantial benefit of any of the other upgrades we've done to these things.
Well, these things were specifically made to fight off the demons and do not have that protection. And we're not gonna.
These things were decrepit, almost. These things were decrepit statues when we found them, like fucking 800 years ago. These things are not. These things are much better now than how we found them. I'm sure they are much. I'm sure they're much better off. I'm sure your friend, no matter how efficient they were at that or inefficient they were against that Nabasu, I'm sure the upgrades we implemented that didn't have will take care of this demon issue.
So these are specifically defended against possession.
Okay. Possession was not one of the things we were. I'm saying circumstantially, as in the upgrades we did just ended up happening to fix the problem. But I could be wrong. I haven't even seen a possession of these machines before.
I will say, I cannot speak as to the state of the creations here, but we personally did battle with this machine, and it was not harmed by any blade, and in fact survived a fall that would kill any one of us, and simply spent days crawling out of the hole.
Well, they did have quite a sturdy density. Their material did have to get reshaped in order just because of a lack of resources, but it was a better material that was replaced with. On top of that, their magical defense is still intact. Which is what forbade you against actually harming it outside of magical items. On top of that, they did have a weird vulnerability to their eyesight, which was also repaired. Though I will say, though it was repaired, it's not. Though I say it was fixed, I say it's no longer a giant flaming green eyeball in the center of their head. It is instead just another component of the same magical defensive materials that we have been applying to the exoskeletons.
Just one question. If your army, like the whole army, was possessed by Nabasu or similar demons, do you have a universal kill switch against these terrifying potential murder golems?
See, our kill switch, we don't have one because we're not planning on them because we didn't plan on them being possessed, because we can only get these things can only be commanded by the people we register to be able to command them. And that's the council, that's Cirilla, that's me, that's the other lords of the different places within Ampharina. High-standing members are the only people in Ampharina that are able to actually control these things.
May I ask, are you warded against possession?
I am, in a matter of sense, yes. Not in the same way that they are, but yes.
Seems like a bit of a dodge. Okay. I don't believe we're going to find answers standing about. Would we continue the tour?
We haven't
One
been
more
standing about.
question.
We've been walking.
Do you have any weapons
We have
that...
been walking. We're right here. You've all been walking, and he gestures to the well, just like 3 feet away.
Pushes us in.
Off you go. Anyway, what was your question? Don't know names.
Do you have any weapons that can disable these golems in the event that they did turn on you? Because,
Of course, yes.
forgive me my paranoia,
They have a
but
defense.
I'm a
they have
strong
defense
believer in... I am
Pardon
a
me.
strong believer in be prepared for the worst case scenario at all times.
Well, I mean, they're protected against non-magical weapons, but they could still easily be harmed by magical weapons.
Okay.
Though it's
So you wouldn't
And
be
as well the
completely
vestiges.
defenseless.
The vestiges themselves would presumably be a counter to them.
Yes, those are magic items, so they are a counter.
Yes. Alright, so what's up with this hole?
What's up with this hole is now simply... Well, you guys can't go in because...
We believe we were told to be given a tour of the grounds. Is this not included?
But there's not really any of the same any of the same graviturgy that's being used on the mountain as there is on the well. That's kind of just a asthma golem thing. So you know what? Kind of just like scoot back a bit for a second. As he just like, oh fuck, what happened? He looks like he's like annoyed that he has to do something, but you're not entirely sure what he has to do. He's just like, can you guys just like step back for a second? Does anyone step back?
Oh, yes, yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were too polite.
You see him like face buried in his hands, but looks up and sees you all standing back. He waits until you guys are about like 15 feet away. I don't know if any of you actually start walking 15 feet away. but whenever you do end up making it 15 feet away, you see the suit of scale mail around him begin to expand a bit as he cracks his neck off to one side, and you watch as this human in this very well-tailored brass scale mail tuxedo shape changes into a massive adult brass dragon that
Sick.
clambers to the ground and towers over you as he says in almost a relatively similar voice as he says, right, hop on. And he lowers down one wing to let you all like get onto his back.
Thank you. Nice.
Should the golem follow, he'll probably take a long
step
time.
right on.
That golem is not coming with.
Makes
Unless it wants
sense.
to do the same 40-foot drop you did times whatever.
All right.
Okay.
Viserys is the first one to crawl up the wing and stand right on the back, just grinning ear to ear.
Hey,
Okay.
cousin.
Aren't you also a brass dragonborn?
Copper.
Oh, copper.
But still, it's
okay.
impressive.
Close. Close.
As you all make it on, he brings up his wing again, turns towards the well, and just hops off. He doesn't even like expand his wings and fly in. No, he just he straight up just drops in, and he proceeds to fall, and then fall, and then fall, all the way down to the ground, all the way down up until you can actually start seeing a floor about 100 feet away, where in which he bamps out his wings, and you all are like shot down to his back, slamming into his brass exterior as a sudden stop of movement happens as he begins to glide down with his wings and make it to the and safely, gracefully land to the ground.
On the way down, I messaged Viserys. You can't do that, right?
No, it's a dragon, dragonborn, but you don't like. No, I don't have wings. I can't do the wing thing yet.
All right.
Viserys, well, not Viserys. This the dragon as it lands, just shape changes back into a human while you guys are still on top. So you all kind of drop about like maybe 10 feet down to the 10 feet to the ground, as his shape changes and and straightens up the suit. As he turns back to you all, you look around, standing up. You look around and you see a massive forge that extends for miles. You could see you could see massive conveyor belts strewn about this entire area, all seeming to manufacture a massive variety of these different Nahuatl, in all of these different varieties of creature designs that seem to mimic those that are very similar to those you have seen before. You could see the Watchers you had seen before. You could see a few of them. You could see a few of the mammoths that you had also seen before. You could see the other machines that you had also seen before. Just more and more machines that you had and hadn't, even some you hadn't seen before, all in this massive forge being constructed. And you can see that Watchers and other machines seem to just be walking around, either patrolling or being repositioned to another place in the forge. The dragon, the now revealed dragon in his human form, straightens up his suit and turns and he says, "I don't think proper introductions were put into order. My name is Halal. Welcome to the well."
Hephaestus, eat your heart out.
Who the fuck's Hephaestus?
A bad person that you don't want to meet.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, the forge of the well. There's not really any specific direction I need to take you to. I could probably just summon one if you want to look at anyone specifically. Do you need? Like, I don't know exactly what you intended to come here for. Do you have a demon you can just see if it can possess, or?
We were instructed to come here as an attempt, as a show of strength.
Okay. So
we just assumed the weakness was present.
I'm supposed to essentially just flex on you.
More about specifically the weakness we believe exists. The council did not specify how they intended to disprove this.
Okay. I mean, if you want to.
It seems like going out of our way to go and like kidnap a demon seems like a bit too much. It's a lot of time and effort for this. So I don't think that was their intent. I could not tell you what it was, though.
Does the name Cirilla Zenacosta ring a
yes,
bell?
we saw her, yes. She spoke for a moment.
Okay, you know, okay, so you've met Cirilla. Well, she's normally the ambassador and normally the one that was supposed to be where Renfield was. I don't know why, but she's been summoned for a premonition. But anyway, It's none of my business. I have no idea what it's called. That's the only thing she ever refers to it as, is just a premonition. Nevertheless, um, she has access to controlling these has access to controlling these machines. So I mean, if the court has asked her to tag along with you, I don't know if that's exactly what was worded, or if she's actually even gonna do that. But if she ends up tagging along, you can probably just take one with you while you do what you probably just take one with you, and if a demon rolls up, you can just see if it works.
I suppose, yeah.
I mean, okay. With that in mind, I don't know. Do I just give you a random? At this point, he like looks back at the massive forge and he's like, "Do I just give?" He's like talking to himself. And he's like, "Do I just give you a fucking? Do I just give you a random one?" Or like,
Whatever you want to show off. I mean, at this point, I don't know if this is necessarily productive, but
I mean, the direct upgrade of the one we have would be best place to start. No.
okay,
you
so
raise a good point.
You just want to upgrade the one that you have.
No, to see the direct upgrade of the one.
Oh, the direct upgrade. Well, that model up there has been redisposed into basic machine. Is to. It's not really like a war machine at this point. It's kind of just like, if anything big needs to happen, it's mostly just like it's been assigned the support class, and it's barely on the support class because it doesn't really, because we kind of just have it do menial tasks that can't be done by normal people because it's too big to be done by normal people. Like, I'm pretty like, did you guys came here by like boat or something?
It walked across the bottom of the sea while
Okay.
we came over boat.
But more in the lines of, you came by boat and you saw those machines have been basically referred. The perfect example is the machines that were on the docks, like towing people, towing the ship, and locking it in. Yeah, that's essentially the kind of tasks that have been assigned to that kind of model.
Okay. Is there any way to?
Can I make an Arcana check on our golem's not here with us now?
Yeah. There were two different
Okay.
voices. Sorry, Daisy and Jason, you both kind of spoke at the same time.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say, is there any way to? I know you said that the technology is a bit outdated, but is there any way we could make ours more combat ready? Any retrofits or attachments?
I mean, I can just give you a different one, a replacement.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Well, I mean,
let's not override its autonomy. If it wants some upgrades, I guess we can talk to him. But like,
I mean, if you want to do like
I'm sure.
if you want to do the most unfair trade possible, I can put that one into. I can assign that one to work. So I'd have to do. Oh fuck! I have to calibrate it. And
we do not intend to dispose of our golem in any capacity.
Oh, so you want to keep that one?
No, he's a good boy. He's got a lot of miles left on him, and you know, we kind of like having him around.
I mean,
He's
it's less work
improving.
on my end.
He's big.
If you give me that one, I'd have to calibrate it to function properly with all the other shit. So if you want to keep that one and have, I don't even fucking know if you even. Okay.
As for anything we would be taking, we do not. I can't speak for the rest of the group, but I have no desire to take one off of your hands unless that is what the council and Miss Anacasta herself decide.
Okay, but like, they want you to
maybe
try
something.
They want you to try to. The council, from what you've told me, the court wants you guys to test if my guys still are able to be possessed by demons, and we can't really do that from here. So
right. So yeah,
I guess you
how about
guys
this?
I guess you guys gotta just take one and test it.
I suppose.
Yeah, what about the top of the line, the newest greatest? Have take that one out for a field test.
That is a good point. If you're going to test, you might as well test one with the best defenses. That way they can't say, oh, but this newest model might work.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I want to give you a Thunderjaw, my guy. Ugh.
Thunderjaw? What's a Thunderjaw? What does he do?
I have a guess.
Weirdly enough, it has nothing to do with thunder, nor does it have a jaw. But
Oh,
nevertheless,
looking for some lightning.
I could give you the best of the best, but like, are you even gonna be able to take it with? Okay, let me think about this for a second.
Is that not waterproof like our friend here? Our friend back there?
Well, yeah, it still has all terrain. It still has all terrain. It's not as prominent. It can't really do anything in the water, but it can still survive in the water. But I don't want. I just met you like 20 minutes ago, and you've come in with Renfield of all people to try to convince me to give you one of my machines. I'm fine with doing that, just not a fucking Thunderjaw at the very beginning. Fuck. If it's Cirilla, I trust Cirilla, so I guess fine. Maybe not a Thunderjaw, not yet. Is there anything like you're bad at?
Don't.
Like transportation wise, anything.
Can it fly? Can we get one that flies? Please tell me we can have one that flies.
If we get one that flies, it has to carry all of our troops.
It does. I mean, we have a couple of stuff that can fly, but they're not really
Like a
big
dragon
things that
rider.
can fly. It's like It's like almost like it's like one person mount essentially. Is the biggest it gets.
What about?
I call it I'm gonna fly it.
Viserys, we can't. We gotta be a bit more critical about how we do this.
Where's the hand pulls out? I mean,
Look, we'll get a griffin. We'll get a griffin.
I
We'll get a
can
griffin.
do a fucking showcase of the shit we got if you want.
Oh, why didn't we start with that?
Okay. Fuck me. Okay. So, why don't we narrow this down, because there's quite a fucking lot of them. Are you want specifically communication class, recon class, combat class, or acquisition class?
I believe communication would make the most sense in terms of just immediately getting results back to Ampharina if we're heading off.
It's probably a bad idea, because communication class is specifically communication for the it's essentially.
You guys don't have long range. You have local.
You see the wrist-mounted device, which he also has, as he pulls up his sleeve and reveals it in his suit. He seems to do a lot more like dragging motions across the front side of his forearm, and in about 5 seconds, you all are interrupted by the thundering footsteps of what I can only describe as a giant stone. It's entirely made out of stone, towering about 30 feet tall. A giraffe with a UFO for a head.
Yup. Yup.
As it towers over, as it says, so this thing is data collection. This thing is used. We call these things transponders. They are used for. They are used for not only for data collection on our end, so they wouldn't really be able to help you unless you were collecting data here. But also they were used for, they are also used to extend, to extend communication to asthma golems on a global scale. So yeah, I don't think that's going to be the most helpful thing to you. Especially if it gets fucking possessed, then you're going to have to destroy it, most likely.
Yeah. What about a combat class that flies?
Combat class that flies. Oh boy. Uh, we've got. Looking at the list. We've got one.
Ooh.
Does a bit more dragging motions, and I gotta look at this one. This one's from the new game.
Viserys, there is just one issue with this.
You
If
see
we
a
get
massive
something that
fucking bat
flies,
robot. You see a massive fucking stone bat show up, just fucking crash down to the ground like a dragon, and just
Hell yeah.
clamber forward as he says, "This is a Dreadwing."
Redwing. Yeah.
right?
Viserys,
But if we get
it's
something
really
that
not an option.
flies, if we get something that flies and we then have to kill it,
Yeah,
that will be very
should.
difficult if it's flying
But if
and
it
we
doesn't-
aren't.
So is the okay? Because you also want, because one of you was also saying that you specifically wanted a super powerful one specifically so that you can test it out in the field.
We're looking for highest
Yeah.
durability, or one that's most likely to be resistant to possession, which I understand is not something you have statted out necessarily.
Not really, but if you want sturdiness, I could probably get you something.
Yes, please.
Let's see.
Dreadwing.
By the way, as an
He
okay.
flicks something on his device, and the Dreadwing just fucks off.
I
You see
suppose
the
two
trauma-
asides.
You see the transponder just slowly backpedal back away.
I
tell
suppose
you
two
what.
asides. The first I will ask for Viserys. These are we can just purchase these outright as well as a separate matter.
No.
Well, maybe
No.
you can, Moneybags.
You
I've
cannot
only got
purchase
16 gold in my pack.
These are not for sale. These are like these are for these are government assigned.
Okay. Yes.
These are government assigned, and also they are only assigned to large companies and for menial and for tasks specifically assigned by the court.
Okay. Second question.
Yes.
Does that also apply to your wrist-mounted device? I was trying to find one I could not.
Yes.
The same.
These are also made by us, and Cirilla will have one in order to control the things, but it's not something we dish out.
I turn to Arya. Looks like we're joining the Griffin Guard.
Anyway, durability. Do you want it to be powerful?
I think
Durability
would be.
and strength kind of go hand in hand sometimes, but I could probably find
They
someone.
do.
I could probably give the weakest but still most durable.
Well,
Yeah,
if it's
then that
if
way,
it's
if
too
it does
durable,
turn out
and
vulnerable, if it does turn out to be vulnerable, then we can kill it easily.
well, not if
So
it's
you
too
want
durable.
durable,
If
but you
we're
also
talking about a rhinoceros that's been possessed by a demon, you're gonna have a hard time getting through the thick hide.
Remind me, what happened? Did the Nambasu just choose to leave the golem when we encountered it?
Yes.
Okay.
It seemed the Namasu
Yeah, we just had to
was-
beat it out.
Yeah, you didn't even have to beat it out. The Nabasu kind of just puppeteered the machine, puppeteered the Nahuatl to climb up the hole, and then as soon as combat started, it just vomited up out of the Nabasu to fight, out of the Nahuatl to fight you all.
Do we think that's the thing it would do again, or do we think it would stay attached to whatever creature we take with us? Or is that something we fully can't
Make
play?
an insight check with disadvantage.
Would that be counteracted by my grandchild of a major demon?
No, because you.
No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. On a 5. You have.
Ooh,
Honestly,
2 6s.
Honestly, it's weird that it even did that to begin with. Like, it slaughtered all of the Nahuatl golems and left the one. And helped it out of the hole. And then went to fight you all. It's weird that they did that in the first place. But you're not... It's oblivious to you why.
Okay. So yeah, to that end, we are... yeah, whatever.
I mean...
So,
okay.
something that we can disable, but would hopefully be the most resistant to any outside influences that you might have.
So you just contradicted yourself in that sentence. You want something that you can easily take care of, but also something that's supposed to not be taken care of so easily.
Well, we're not
Something
trying
that
to
can't-
possess it.
Something that can't murder
If any
us.
of these can be possessed. I don't know if I don't know if any of these can be possessed. I don't know what components or what traits specifically discern possessable and non-possessable ones. I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen up until now. So
We're
so
going to
forgive me.
We're going to assume possession is a guarantee on our end, simply because if it's not, that creates a lot of problems for us.
Okay, so you're not worried about field testing them anymore. You're just worried about whether or not it can be possessed or not.
No,
I mean,
that is
technically, it is still a
our
field
goal
test.
our goal is to show the council that there is a vulnerability.
Okay.
I mean, in a sense, it is a field test because the demons of Abyssalus are going to come and kill us all.
Yes, that
We're
is
just preparing.
Yeah.
that was the header. Yeah.
What is Abyssalus?
The place
It's
demons come
another
from.
really big continent, and they all want us
Figured
dead.
as much. Okay, well, I can give you something that's... I can give you a machine that's a weaker machine that is like a weaker acquisitions machine, which is basically just storage. Which is basically just a storage unit. And you can test if that one... And if you can test if that one can get possessed, and if it gets possessed, you can just kill it because it's not gonna do anything against you.
And also, it wouldn't have a big impact on you.
No.
Then I believe that's a effective solution. Yes.
Okay. Let me think about those. All of a sudden my fucking internet is not gonna want... My fucking web browser's done. Okay. Nope, it's not done. Yes, it is. Okay. Remember correctly. Okay, yeah. So he just looks and he's like, alright. With that in mind, why don't you just have one of these? And he flicks his device, and after a good minute, you just see a little trotting up to you all is a small-sized anteater made of stone. It's basically
I like
a
this.
That'll
Nahuatl
do it.
It's basically a Nahuatl anteater.
I like this thing a lot. Thank you for showing me this.
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Anyway,
it's cute.
this is a spike snout. It's mostly used for extracting certain liquids, both magma, both hot and cold, out of solid rock. So
Hmm.
it's kind of just like a small mining droid. It's gonna take some pretty decent convincing to try to get a demon to possess it, because it's not really gonna do much. Apart, the only thing it can really
Do you mind if we
is
test it?
lunge for. Test it.
I point to Viserys' bucket of blood.
Test what? It's gonna extract the blood. I was saying it's going to. I was gonna say it can extract liquids like lava hot and nitrogen oxide cold.
Dang.
So it can't do blood?
It can do blood. I don't know why you need to test it if it can do blood, because that's a warm. Why do you have blood? he takes a second to read. Like, why the fuck do you have blood in a bucket?
I think the
And that
salient
involves-
point there is that it can puncture through rock to get the liquid, so it could feasibly do damage.
So it could
Yes,
punch
it
through the
has-
side of the bucket?
The most dangerous thing it can do is beat the shit out of you with its tail, and stab you with its needle, with its central needle, which it uses to extract liquids. That's the most dangerous thing it can do. So good luck convincing a demon to try to possess it.
If we find a minor demon, I suppose. I know there's some truly lesser demons. We could certainly. As low as it gets, this is an upgrade.
Do we even know how the possession works? Like, does
We've only seen the end of it.
Oh, so you have no idea what you're looking for.
no? We
Demons?
don't know if it was mental possession, if he just piloted it from the inside. We don't
It-
really know.
It was physically, it was in some method contained within the golem while it possessed it.
You guys are the ones assigned to this mission?
No.
Everywhere
no,
else was being ransacked by the Aeneid Council. We were here to negotiate.
We
Okay.
didn't even want this mission. It was just thrown on us because, you know.
You keep giving me names. I'm not a name person.
Don't worry about the names; they're not important. They're
Okay,
They're not
so
important
the
for
Aeneid
what we
Coun-
need from you.
Okay, awesome, great.
Yes.
So, you're gonna take this spike snout, try to find a demon, try to convince it to possess this spike snout, and if it fails, you just beat the shit out of the demon, and if it succeeds, you beat the shit out of the spike snout, and then the demon.
And we come back here and
Come back here and tell me about it.
I mean, it's a secondary objective, you know? We're mostly looking for the last vestige, and while we're at it, we might as well, you know?
What?
we are going to unite all the vestiges.
Another.
That-
The only vestiges are the ones the court has. Did they lose one?
No, there's more.
No, there are more.
I'll show you mine.
Motherfucker.
So I'm not part of the council, and you know, unless this makes me part of the council, of course. But hell,
What
We
makes
didn't
you
get
part
that
of the
impression.
council?
so easy.
What makes you part of the
Yeah.
council?
The vestige.
He-
It I have. Yes.
One second. My system's just malfunctioned. you have broken this man. Yeah, this guy has been completely isolated within Ampharina. So everything that keeps fucking being brought up about anything outside of Ampharina, he has no fucking clue about.
Yeah, within Ampharina and away from libraries, apparently.
So he He goes, well, okay. So you're looking for a vestige, and while you're doing that, you're testing whether or not. So, how do you know you're gonna find a demon while trying to find the vestige?
We had not
The
discussed that yet.
no, the demons are also either looking for the last vessels or already have it in their possession. Which, if they do,
This
fuck.
is all pointless.
If they don't, then great. Either way, we'll probably meet a demon or two.
Worst case, we head to the coast of Abyssalus, which seems like a really bad idea, but we'll find a demon, and hopefully quickly.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so
In the meantime, try not to have a panic attack about the demons that want to kill us
I
all.
don't even care. Like I'm just more confused than I am worried about demons.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You know, the thought has occurred to me. They're not concerned about the demons. Like they say that their machines here will handle them, but like they can't make infinite machines. But infinite
yes, they can.
demons is a thing.
Yeah, we can
mean,
we can definitely make infinite machines.
It's such an
So are you saying you
alien
can or can't?
possibility to them.
Can?
Can.
With all due respect, you are mining the materials in this mountain. There are not infinite materials.
No, but what we can do is regenerate the materials.
God, I need to just learn every spell in that library, I swear.
Not a spell.
I need to.
We built another machine to fix the mountain. We break the mountain. We build more machines that fix the mountain.
I think there's a real moment of, like, a vessel bursting in Viserys' forehead as he just processes that. Just fully
The
not.
wide maws have been one of the first of these newer models. Yeah, as he like flips through, as he does more dragging around of his sigils, as he says, the wide maws are the ones that are able to just regenerate inorganic material that we then use to make new machines. And it's also a giant hippopotamus. And he turns around, and you turn around, and there's just a giant fucking Nahuatl hippopotamus just standing there.
I'm going to lose my mind fully if I even try to investigate the workings of that.
And you haven't even seen you haven't even seen the Thunderjaw yet.
Are you after a
I
career
get to
now?
clarify,
I will literally do a fashion show of all of this shit because I'm very proud of all of my work, and also Cerilla.
I have to see the Thunderjaw. I have to. You said it does not have any interaction with thunder and has no jaw.
No, but it's still pretty fucking badass.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay. And he like takes it. He draws more sigils. The hippopotamus just backpedals. And very stereotypically, there are massive thunderous footsteps. And there's like a moment of silence from Halal before he's like, Thunderjaw. They make thunderous footsteps. That explains so much right now. Don't get the jaw still. I'll have to talk to Cerilla about that. As he's not even phased, as approaching from a distance, gleaming two orange eyes that peer off in your direction. It looks very cinematic, and also holy shit is like the coolest fucking thing ever, as fire from the forges is in the background, just shrouding this thing in darkness, as you see the massive visage of what looks to be a massive Nahuatl Tyrannosaurus Rex approach,
Sick.
towering 50
T-Rex.
feet tall.
With no jaw?
It has it's got like these weird, it's got these weird things where it doesn't actually have a jaw. It has the head and then like two, what looks to be sort of like lower lip areas that don't seem to move don't seem to move. They're just appendages that seem to
Like
have their own
mandibles?
sort of machinations, but you're not entirely familiar. They don't seem to have a jaw. They just seem to have a lower attachment that looks like a jaw. As a fucking massive Tyrannosaurus Rex just walks in,
Yeah.
50 foot tall, Nahuatl.
What's the reason behind the tiny arms?
There's no arms.
Okay, no arms? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Why are there no tiny arms on this?
They were fucking useless. You want me to put a useless set of arms on a fucking T-Rex? Pretty sure those were mating arms. They like flailed them around to assert dominance. These things don't need to assert dominance. They're a fucking giant construct
So,
in the shape of a T-Rex.
to clarify,
Yes.
you know what a T-Rex is, but don't know what other continents are.
See, Cirilla was the one that told me it was a T-Rex. I have no idea what a fucking T-Rex is.
Okay.
That thing, it apparently looks like a T-Rex.
Okay, thank you. That was the one clarification.
Cirilla's
That was
probably
the
one
one
that gives me
clarification
the
I needed.
most, Cirilla's probably the one that gives me the most information about. I'm an idiot. You know what? Because I completely forgot about one of the most crucial elements of Ampharina. He changes that answer. And this is a perfect cliffhanger. He's like, "Yeah, I know what a T-Rex is."
Oh god.
There's dinosaurs on Ampharina.
Yep. Okay.
And that's where we're gonna end the session. I enjoyed it.
Halfway through, I kind of thought that question was like, I thought for half a second I felt like I was like poking a hole, and then I was like, and then nope, you just had the perfect counter.
Yeah, of course we know what a fucking T-Rex is. We got dinosaurs.
Yep, could not have been more perfect. Yep.
All right, so that is going to be the end of session 12 for tonight. Yeah. So now you've met Halal. You've seen the forge. You've now got a little anteater companion. Do you all still intend to keep around the Nahuatl you had?
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
not?
probably not
Yeah.
against
Because
demons, but
if not, he's either going to be just scooped up by Ampharina or just fuck off to Polyphemus again.
Polyphemus is
doesn't-
not safe. That's
Doesn't it have free will though?
No, he's not. He doesn't have free will. He has directives that he follows with his life. And he
isn't
was
his
given a
current directive.
And his prime directive right now was given to him by Charon, which was to
Yeah.
help you all, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could not tell him to go to some
but if
safe
you
house.
give him, but if you give him to Ampharina, he was saying how he could calibrate Ampharina to. He was saying how he could calibrate the Nahuatl into being, into, like, syncing up so that those that are able to control the Nahuatl are able to control him.
I think Akamera has taken the perspective of like the old stuff is better here. He is not like clearly these things are capable of things that this one is not, but he's yet to like see them like tested side by side here. So he's like this is like not built to last in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
and our one is friend-shaped.
Ours is
He's
friendship.
part of the team. He's part of the
He's
crew.
part of the family now.
Yeah.
Everyone knows 40-foot tall is friend-shaped.
Yes, exactly. Why are you all looking at me like that?
If he is not our friend, why is he the height of Clifford?
Exactly. You know, and that's what I was saying. Like, if we could kit him out, give him some as best we could, the newest upgrades, that it would just make him more useful in battles, and still got the flavor that we all have come to know and love.
And if we can figure out how to demon-proof him, then we will be all set.
If demon proofing is a thing, Ampharina has no reason to help us, and we're screwed.
But
We
they
have
haven't
to-
got demon-proofing yet.
See, they're not. See, the proposal that Corellin gave you was not about didn't involve anything involving demon proofing. He was kind of like, okay, you want the shit, you can't command the shit unless you have the shit, so get the shit, and then we can get it. Also,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case,
Yeah.
just for those that need it, which is everyone but Spencer. This is a spike snout. This is your little companion.
Is this?
Yeah.
This is. I actually only played the base of the first game, so this is new to me.
Oh yeah, this is a new one.
Yeah.
Yes, it is
Interesting.
spike snout. Think metal.
Oh, I love him.
But with stone.
And to clarify, this one was like a medium size. This is not a gargantuan one. Small.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. That's good. We love this.
Probably in the pose that he is right now, he's probably standing about 3 feet tall.
Beautiful. I love him.
He's also friend-shaped.
Everything's friend shaped if you're born.
Yeah, we're just gonna adopt all the nets.
Let me actually just send an image of all of the different ones I showed off.
Yeah.
So
Perfect description of the giraffe.
Oh yeah, tall neck. So this was the. Which one's a good image of the? Yeah, okay, this one. It's the Lego version of it, but so this was the transponder, which was the first one.
Dang.
I almost asked if there
Giraffe
was
is
a way to
right.
climb its neck.
This is an image of the Dreadwing, the massive bat.
There we go. See? That looks badass.
I mean,
For
if you get all the vestiges, maybe you can get one.
I would love that.
I would
hello-
too. I
hello?
felt really mean raining on your parade there. I was just, no. We need something that we can actually attack.
I kind of immediately picked up. I kind of just immediately assumed this is the bit as telling Viserys no.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, Jason. I don't want to. I want the cool bat too.
I like that it's camo for
One day.
night. If that's flying around in the dark, it just looks like it's like a starry night.
Yeah.
I guess the red glowing eyes don't help its stealth.
Mm-hmm. I'm debating.
That's when you put it into night mode.
I'm debating on whether or not to keep it so that the Nahuatl Dreadwings have invisibility. Because they do in the game.
Well, if we don't have to fight them, I say definitely give them invisibility. If we do have to fight them, do not. That is my expert opinion.
This is the this is the hippopotamus one.
Yeah, I don't know how you take that thing down. If it got possessed, I don't know how you would
Well,
be able to.
obviously with a bow and arrow. That's how you're supposed to take.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird. Funnily enough, Viserys is the only one that has successfully taken a Nahuatl down with a bow and arrow.
Mhm.
Did he take one down?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
he
remember
took,
the
he took out
the
one of
eye.
your characters with
It
the
was a
eye.
flame, so the water bag on an arrow, right in the eye.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
But the new ones
No.
don't have that weakness. He was just bragging about it not too long ago.
He wasn't bragging about it. He just informed you about it.
Oh, he was low-key bragging. He's proud of his work.
After we decided it was a show of strength.
And then lastly, the Thunderjaw.
Now tell me that would not be better
Yeah.
with tiny little useless arms.
For the cuteness factor.
See, this one's not friend shaped because it doesn't have arms.
Mm-hmm. Mandatory requirement.
Alright, well. So yeah, that is going to be the end of the session for tonight. Thank you all for joining. Sorry that we started late, and sorry that we ended late, but thought I'd compensate for so that we didn't only have like a 2.5 hour session.
It's all good. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is that the 26th, right?
Hopefully
Okay.
we should be able to get back to a normal schedule. So yes, the 26th of January is our next session.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okie dokie.
Now to
See you
find out a way
later.
to lie to the entire party.
Ah.
I was hoping I was hoping to get to at least like you guys falling asleep, and then you at least be getting that conversation. But we'll worry about that next time.
Honestly, this is probably a little better this way. That way, hopefully, the rest are here so that my lies are obvious to the outside or to the players.
Mhm. We see everything.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
See ya.